Hello, I'm Janet. Today I'm going to introduce a comic book called Kwan Self-Sustaining House. The book is based on a spatial design project of a sustainable tunnel adaptation in Huangpu Street to tell a story of people converting a tunnel building into a self-sustaining community. The story focuses on the restaurant owner Mr. Kwan and his family as the last one departed on the street. And it begins on Huangpu Street in the past. From its humbling beginnings as a dock, the community has grown into a vibrant community with a strong sense of belongings. As a result, you can see the close relationship and networks between the residents. However, good times do not always last. As the developers enter the game, the old residents are forced to leave. So recently, only Ka Ming restaurant and the owner's family has stayed in the building. To survive in this situation, they devised a plan including growing vegetables, constructing a new set of water system, as well as a shelter to protect the plants and chickens. As an initial motivation, they were able to obtain vegetables, chickens, eggs, and collect water through the slope of this canopy. After several times of testing, they also construct a water filtration system with a collector, filters, and a water tank to store the water. They are considering creating a more systematic farm management plan, such as designing a weekly meal plan for each family members and a planting guide to further manage the food demand and growing amount of each type of vegetables in the farm in order to create a more higher productivity and efficiency. So in the first stage, they built a garden, a chicken cage, storage, water system, and a recheckable tarpaulin roof structure. In addition, as part of the life cycle, there is also a system for vegetables, livestock, and waste. Following that, the owner is attempting to introduce home-grown vegetables into the restaurant menu. Because the feedback has been positive and the restaurant has grown into popularity, they are planning to construct a greenhouse with solar panels on top to ensure a more consistent supply of energy and food. So after addressing the survival issue, they decide to address the material transportation issue as the next step. Because there's no any elevation in the building, it is difficult to transport materials such as water and food from the roof to the ground floor restaurants. As a result, they devised a mechanical system to transport material while people is riding the bike here. However, as the redevelopment project progressed, Mr. Kwan's building has increasingly isolated. As a result of new residents moving in and raising the living standards, the owner's family was once again confronted with the financial difficulties, while it really made them feel frustrated. To get through this tough time, they plan to reorganize the rooftop area in order to increase the fruit and vegetable intake with reservations, just expanding the restaurant and open a small market to budget money. But before that, they create a workshop in the 7th floor for Mr. Kwan to do some planting and woodworking more conveniently. It was later transformed into a more comprehensive space that coordinating the expanded workshop and expanded greenhouse. In the greenhouse area, they are attempting to use the vertical farming method to grow the vegetables and fish at once, and using the water cycling in order to have a greater variety of food items with more harvest and less waste. In the second stage of greenhouse expansion, they try to build a second-story cages to feed the chickens and ducks. The new expansion also serves as a bridge connecting the two greenhouses and creating a multi-leveled interior space to improve spatial quality. After a long period of growth, they have successfully improved the crop harvest index and attempt to sell it in the market. Hence, they built a storeroom, a factory for food drying, processing, packaging, and to selling in the market. At the same time, the restaurant is being expanded to the second floor to accommodate more seating, a larger kitchen, and the plants that surround the space. After putting a lot of time and effort, they were able to overcome all the difficulties. To express his thankful heart to the neighbors and friends, Mr. Kwan created a gathering space in the first and second floor as a leisure center for people to have a nice time together. So there's a working space, sitting device, backyard garden, balcony, where they can do whatever they want here. But actually, they just discovered that some of the former residents are still facing the difficulties in renting a new house after moving out from the Huapo Street. So why doesn't we make better use of the empty spaces in the building? In the final stage of transformation, they intend to rebirth the empty space to become a residential plus communal area for both of them. So this is the happy ending for Mr. Kwan, his family, as well as the residents here. They got their own house, overcome the difficulties, rebuilding the community, neighborhood, and the connection between each other. Everything is the same as it was at the start of the street. So this is not only Mr. Kwan's story, but also the story of the building, illustrating the life from the death to rebirth solely because of people. And this is the whole story of the comic book Kwan's Self-Sustaining House.